Guyana is now a full-fledged oil-producing nation. But how much do you know about this valuable yet finite resource? On our radio program, Guyana's Oil and You, we strike at the heart of every issue with informed views and credible data. The time is now for you to arm yourself with insightful knowledge on your oil wealth.
This is the news on top of the hour.
Live from our studio in Georgetown.
Kaieteur Radio, 99.1 FM.
Good evening and welcome to this evening's newscast on Kaieteur Radio. I am Kevin Smith. Let's get to the news in detail. A team of opposition MPs led by Joseph Harmon today met with President of Esso Exploration and Production Guyana Limited, Alistair Routledge, and others for a scheduled briefing on the scaling down of production on the Stabroek Block. This comes on the heels of problems that developed with the flash gas compressor on board the Liza Destiny oil vessel this past week. Providing an update on the meeting, opposition leader Harmon, in a statement, revealed that the meeting was successful and that at the heart of the issue is the flaring of gas into the atmosphere and the operational efficiency of critical equipment. And moving on. Gaisuco has signaled its intention to meet with the Guyana Agricultural Workers Union, or GAWU, over the stalled wages talks that led to a spate of recent strike action by sugar workers. The corporation, in announcing the meeting today, sought to place on record its financial position in relation to any wage increases, to say that last year it had to spend 102% of its revenue to pay wages and salaries. Additionally, the corporation claimed that this past year it recorded some $3.8 billion in losses. As such, the corporation underscored that without financial support from the shareholders, the corporation would not have met its wages bill. And moving on, the Ministry of Health announced today that over 100,000 individuals have received their first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. Previously, over 4,000 persons were being vaccinated daily, but since the government has dropped the age of eligibility to 18, that number has since increased to 6,000 vaccinations per day. The vaccines currently being used in the government immunization campaign are the India's Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine, the Chinese Sinopharm vaccine, and the Russian Sputnik V vaccine. All of these vaccines are administered in double doses. Meanwhile, Canadian-based oil exploration company CGX Energy Inc. has secured a semi-submersible drilling rig to spud its planned Kawa-1 exploration well in the Quarantine Block later this year. The announcement was made today by CGX and its joint venture partner in the block offshore Guyana, Frontera Energy Corporation. It was disclosed that at the time that the Kawa-1 well will be targeting a Santonian age, a stratigraphic trap interpreted to be similar to the discoveries made recently immediately to the east on Block 58 in Suriname. And moving on, Guyana is actively pursuing a gas-to-shore project to set up a gas-fired power plant, but the initiative is being pushed at a time when the cost of renewables has dropped dramatically during the past decade. This makes gas-fired stations less competitive. A recent Bloomberg report documents that natural gas is quickly falling out of favor with emissions-wary investors and utilities at a quicker pace than coal did, catching some power generators unaware and potentially leaving them stuck with billions of dollars of assets they cannot sell. In other news, ExxonMobil Guyana disclosed yesterday that it has finally removed the discharge silencer, a component of the gas compressor system for the Liza Destiny vessel that malfunctioned on April 13th last. That aspect of the equipment will undergo further assessment for damage, following which a determination will be made regarding the necessary scope of repairs and/or modifications. Exxon said it estimates that repairs or replacements will take approximately 3 months. In the meantime, the American oil explorer and operator of the Stabroek Block said that production will be slowly ramped up to 100,000 barrels of oil per day. Further to this, we were told that flaring levels have increased as well. And moving on, an elderly woman was last night disturbed from her rest by the sound of gunshots a short while after she found out that it was her grandson who was executed by gunmen on Drysdale Street, Charlestown, Georgetown. The slain man has been identified as Odingo Anthony Yearwood, aged 25 years, of Charlestown. Yearwood was gunned down sometime after 20 hours. When we arrived on the scene, his body covered with a brown cloth was still lying in the street in a pool of blood a short distance from his home. 3 spent shells were seen near the body, and a trail of even more spent shells could have been seen leading to the victim's bicycle, which was found in an alleyway close to his home. Police are investigating the matter. And to wrap things up, government is at present unable to pronounce on when the recent spate of blackouts plaguing the country would end, but the phenomenon is in part behind the push for a diversified power generation base using the much vaunted gas to shore project. This is according to Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs Anil Nandlal, who this past week sought to lament the state of affairs of GPL's generation and distribution capacity. According to Nandlal, despite the upgrades currently being undertaken by Trinidadian and other contractors, he does not know when the blackouts will stop, but the government is working towards it. And with that, we've come to the end of this evening's newscast. I am Kevin Smith. Thank you for listening. Coming up next is a short presentation from the publisher of the Kaieteur News, Dr. Glenn Lal, followed by the National Outlook with GHK Lal.
Want value for your advertising dollar? Then place your ads on Kaieteur Radio's newscasts. Streamed live on 6 different mediums, reaching hundreds of thousands. Advertise today and watch your dollar grow. Call us on 225-8465 or 226-8210 today.
Insurance is extremely important. He said it's a toolkit every citizen, every home, every businesses should and must have.